There's a drink out there that can be bought in liquor stores, gas stations, and shipped straight to your door. This drink has gained a lot of virality for its possible dangerous side effects. It is known as Feel Free. One of the main ingredients in Feel Free is kratom. And while this is not usually aligned with my typical videos, as someone who's been very vocal about my past kratom addiction, I felt it necessary to comment on this issue. Kratom began gaining popularity from 2011 to 2017. It first was seen as a opiate-like substance that helped people with strong opiate addictions begin to overcome it. Closer to 2017, an episode from Hamilton's Pharmacopoeia covered kratom, its background and its usage, and it began to gain even more popularity. And then in 2018, Hamilton Morris went on the Joe Rogan Experience, and they had a discussion about kratom while Joe Rogan was on kratom.
This discussion about kratom, are you familiar with this?
I'm on it right now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I just took some, and I just took 6 of them. See what happens.
Wow.
I took 10 once. Oof.
Well, it's an opioid itself, and a lot of people don't want to admit or acknowledge that.
And this is around the time period where I myself started to get deeply involved in kratom. Now, a typical dose of kratom capsules is about 8 capsules, 8 half-gram capsules taken maybe 2 or 3 times a day. To put it into perspective, at the height of my substance use, I was taking 120 capsules in the morning and then another 40 to 60 throughout the day. I would buy kilos of kratom online, ship straight to my door, and press my own capsules for the sake of cost. Now, kratom itself has gone back and forth between being considered a opiate-like substance and being a plant-based opiate. And the truth is there's many different compounds in kratom, but one of them specifically is known as 7-OH, and that compound is known as an atypical opiate. So technically it is a plant-based opiate that binds to the opiate receptors. But what's interesting about 7-OH is that it is known as being 13 times more potent than morphine. Now, Feel Free brand in particular claims that they do not have any sort of derived 7-OH, no sort of concentrated 7-OH in their drinks, but they do use kratom in their drinks, and therefore it has opiate-like effects, or quite literally, opiate effects. Now, what else do we know about the years 2017, 2018? There started to be some kind of revolution in terms of substance use. Opiates started to get heavily scrutinized and cracked down. Big Pharma began to get sued and demonized for their spreading of opiates. And so what happens when there is all of a sudden a decline in use of a certain substance? Well, there's a gap in a marketplace, and people begin to capitalize. And when there's gray areas in legalization, there's gray areas in understanding, it allows for the room to people to deceive and profit. And that's where many kratom brands stepped in. But it looks like Feel Free won that race. And so the most important thing to talk about today is that if you are struggling with any substance use, period, across the board, it is the number one thing in your life that you need to fix and get rid of. Ignore everything else until you tackle that demon, because it will tear you down. I spent years of my life addicted to this substance, completely destroyed everything I held dear, and it took every ounce of my soul, my body, and my mind to fight it and recover. But know that you can recover. And when you're in the depths of hell that addiction creates, it doesn't seem possible, but it is possible. And if you don't think you can escape, know that I believe in you. Just continue to push and endure. Get to a better place. Because it's there. You just got to want it bad enough. So in terms of Feel Free, in terms of kratom, we as humans like to paint this narrative or picture that anything natural is safe and good. We love our natural nootropics, and we like to think that if it comes from Earth, then it's all safe, and that's just not true. There's endless plants and things out there in nature that will absolutely kill you. That's undeniable. You don't walk into a jungle and say, oh, a lion's just a cat, it's safe, it's nature. Well, if you did that, you probably aren't there to tell the story, because that's insane. So why do we like to do that with plants? We know that substances as a whole, consumption of anything in excess, has adverse effects. This goes for just about any food, anything you put into your body except maybe water. And even then, you can drink too much water. As humans, we have to acknowledge that there are downside effects to consumption. We've spent years running away from this in terms of health, diet, and substance altogether. So this can be yet another lesson for the community of people that are really driven to have substance issues. We have to acknowledge that we need to control ourselves. We need discipline. And when we're faced with issues like feel free, giving temptation and a somewhat appealing picture of what actually isn't true, we need to understand that it is our job to say no, to make our own decisions based off fact, based off experience, and take the proper steps in our own life. Because feel free has compounds in it that will leave you addicted and miserable. It's not a safe alternative to alcohol. It's not something that's going to better your day. Well, maybe temporarily, but it will completely ruin your life. And that's not a decent trade-off. If you're willing to make the trade-off, you are going to pay the price in the end. And as someone who has paid the price, I'm telling you, it is not worth it. If you are addicted to anything, get it out of your life as fast as you possibly can. The upside is your life improves, and every single day gets better. You start to enjoy life. When you're in this cycle of addiction, you start to think that there is no enjoyment, there is no benefits of life without it. Everything else seems dull and colorless and miserable. But it just gets worse if you don't stop. And I'm not saying stop whatever you're consuming right away, but cut it out little by little. Take the steps, because once you do it, breathing will feel better. Life will feel amazing. And I promise you, you feel pain, but you just got to get through it. Like I said, I don't usually comment on these types of topics, but it felt necessary because of my past experience, because of the pain that has been caused through my own decisions through consuming this type of substance. So like I said, get out there, better yourself, educate yourself, stay away from the negativity. I'll see you all tomorrow.